So, good afternoon, Mr. Arvili. I'm basically Asego from Tabong 1 Community College, a third-year student from BA Sociology. Um, I thank you so much for taking your time to be interviewed, and I know you have a very hectic schedule, but you still showed up. This interview is all about the role of social media and political polarization, and your insights will be valuable for our data gathering. Shall we?
Yes, sure.
Or would you like to introduce yourself first before we proceed to the questions?
Okay. Um, Hi, I am RV Manais. You can call me RV Lee. I am a graduating Bachelor of Science in Technology Communication Management, major in Communication Management.
So let's start with the first question. Um, which social media platforms do you use most frequently, like Facebook, Twitter, X, TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube?
Most frequently used social media platforms are Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
And how do you encounter political content on social media? Is it never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always?
Always.
Do you believe social media influences your political opinions or beliefs? Yes or no? And please explain your answer.
Yes, it does. Social media in the first place, it was built to share the information across the globe. And so, in terms of political discussion on social media, it can actually influence my belief, especially if I knew someone who support this particular, let's just say, candidate, and this candidate has no concrete or strong credentials for such position. So that influenced my idea of, tagging someone who is not educated enough to know how to do fact checking and to know how to filter between what is real and what is mis or disinformation.
Have you ever unfollowed or blocked someone due to their political views? Yes or no? If yes, what triggered your decision?
Yes. Especially the last or the latest issue about Duterte being caught by the ICC. So the I have so many friends in social media who shared different posts about the said issue, and I have this one person in mind who um, is very entitled, and she cannot accept defeat. And I don't like someone who disrespect other people's opinion, because even though we are different people and having a different perspective, it is also important to give or share respect, because at the end of the day, we all live in one country and we're all Filipinos. So I just don't like the idea of being you bullied someone if gonna bitong mapildi na ka sa argument. So yeah, that is the triggering factors, the reason why I blocked that person.
To what extent do you agree with the following statement? Social media creates echo chambers where users are only exposed to views they already agree with. Strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree.
Strongly agree.
Do you feel more politically divided from others as a result of social media interactions? Yes or no? And please explain.
Again.
Do you feel more politically divided from others as a result of social media interactions?
Yeah, we can always feel that way because as I've said, we have different perspective towards politics or any other social issues. And our thoughts would never be the same because we are different people with different backgrounds and walks in life. And with that being said, sometimes or even most of the time, I feel divided to to my friends, um, especially during the 2022 election. I could still remember that I have so many friends who vouched and supported BBM's presidency, while me, on the other hand, I am supporting Lenny Robredo. And the fact that we are in one circle and these people are voting for this particular candidate, I feel divided because we don't share the same perspective or idea towards our um, ideal candidate for the presidency.
Um, have you have you engaged in political arguments or debates on social media? Frequently, occasionally, rarely, never, and describe one such experience if any.
I would say occasionally because hindi naman lagi election.
Yeah.
'Di ba? So, way back pa rin, 2022 election, I saw this post. It's a, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Pulse Asia survey of a senatorial candidate for the Philippines. And one of the candidates is Robin Padilla. And so I shared this post with my caption of, being saddened of the results. Because as someone as uh, coming from um, coming from a place or grew up in a province na very political dynasty jud siya, I shared same sorrow and kanang melancholic bitaw na feelings because it's very unfortunate that a lot of Filipinos are gullible. They don't know how to how to select the right leader for the position because in running as a senator, you are not just giving a simple ayuda, you are a legislator. And that is my point. That I hope people don't just select because this particular person is popular in terms of his or her achievement or his or her TV appearance. I think sometimes we should look into the uh, meritocratic aspect of the candidate so that we can have a better choice and a better leader for our country.
And do you think social media platforms should regulate or limit political content? Why or why not?
Yeah. Um, yes, to an extent, because I do believe that social media platforms should regulate posts that, especially those posts that brings or carries misinformation, disinformation, hate speech, and even incitement of violence. However, it is also important to think that they should be really careful not to censor the, what do you call this one, not to censor the legitimate political expression because uh, that is a delicate balance between promoting a healthy political discourse at the same time protecting the freedom of speech.
In your opinion, does the algorithmic nature of social media, showing similar content based on likes and share, contribute to political polarization? Yes or no? And please elaborate.
Yes, it can actually cause or one of the factor to achieve that political polarization because our algorithmic feed it has something to do with our interests. This is something that we frequently watch, something that we are supporting, we are watching, and we are sharing on our social media accounts. And um, the more that maura na ang gabalik-balik na content, that is very harmful and dangerous because that can add good kanabitang political confirmation bias. And when we say political confirmation bias, that is a repetitive loop nga it keeps on flashing sa imong screen and a confirmation bias because you cannot see what is behind or beyond sa imong wall. So sometimes it is important na to discover, to scroll pa jud apart sa imong nasa imong gakakita, because there are so much things to learn and to discover pa jud aside sa imong algorithm.
What changes, if any, would you recommend to reduce political polarization on social media platforms?
I don't think that we can prevent political polarization because it is our choice. It's the people's choice. If kabantay ka, if mo sign up kag new app or an app, the app will ask you about your interests. That will show up every time you use that particular social media platform. And I don't think we can prevent that because that's their freedom of choice. However, ako lang siguro maingon, it's more on the people to be more wise in terms of their choices, because at the end of the day, your choices reflects who you are. It's like a mirror nga pag mopili ka ingani nga klase nga leader, then you have to reflect if nga naabasad ka. Kaya I do think man good nga it's a reflection jud of who you are.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ardery. I feel honored that you spared time with me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well for having me.